Hello again, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Journey Through Sports and Life. Delighted once again to have you along as we come to you not from the great state of Texas, but from Louisiana. We're in New Orleans. That's right, site of Super Bowl 59. The Chiefs and the Eagles. I have to look at Marnie. Of course, as you well know, it was her grandfather back in the 1980s that was the owner of the Eagles. So I know who you're pulling for come Sunday.
Well, just a great game where no one gets injured.
All right, sounds good.
Yes. Good. Yes.
But for Marnie and Marjorie, I'm Scott, and we're delighted to welcome you. And boy, talk about iconic people. Look who you have on board for us here today.
Oh,
huh?
I know.
I'll let you. I haven't seen him in umpteen years. But
well, yeah, I haven't either. Well,
Yep.
no, we ran into each other at the Super Bowl last year, but we have with us today Leigh Steinberg, and I am so excited to have him as a guest. Everybody in the world knows Leigh
Oh,
Steinberg,
for sure.
the agent. He and I met back in the mid-'80s. You were Mike Sherrard's agent. Do you remember that? That's been a while, hasn't it, Leigh?
yeah, he was in second grade at the time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, just
so
a young
is
kid,
I.
right?
So is I. Yeah. So Leigh Steinberg, he is now representing Patrick Mahomes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. And to name one, he's got a lot of athletes that he represents. Has had a wonderful career. Even had a movie. Okay, Jerry Maguire.
Right.
Leigh was who they based Jerry Maguire on, right? You were even on the set, weren't you?
Oh, Cameron Crowe, the director, called me up in 1993 and asked if he could follow me around for a film based on a sports agent. So he went everywhere with me, to the league meetings, to the NFL draft, to games, to pro scouting day at USC, and then I was technical advisor, so I had to vet the script to make sure the willing suspension of disbelief that holds you in a motion picture wasn't broken. And then he gave me some of the actors to work with, so I took Cuba Gooding Jr. down to the Super Bowl and put him in role, and Tom Cruise and Regina King and Renee Zellweger. And
Wow.
then it's been probably 26 or 27 years now, and I still can't go out into a public place like a restaurant or an airport without someone running up and saying 4 words to me that start with "Show me the."
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll
I thought
hear
they were
that
going to say
forever
you
and ever.
complete me, but I guess show me the money. That works too.
Or you
Yeah.
had me at hello.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. You've always got something going. You're so active and do so many things for so many people. But if you could talk a little bit about what you've got going now.
So I just founded a concussion foundation to raise awareness, prevention, and cure in the area of traumatic brain injury. And I had a crisis of conscience back in the 80s because I was representing half the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. They kept getting hit in the head, and when we would go to doctors and ask, how many is too many? What's the magic number? They had no answers. So I started holding concussion conferences, and the first one had Troy Aikman and Steve Young and Warren Moon and Drew Bledsoe, and have neurologists talk to the athletes about what the dangers were. And we finally held one where they said 3 or more is the magic number. And after that, it's a slippery slope to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, premature senility, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and depression. So we kept holding these, and now I'm doing this foundation to try to raise money for more research into athletic concussion and to help underserved communities that don't have brain treatments. Now, the good news is that we used to always assume that once a brain got atrophied or hurt, it was a slippery slope, as I said. But now we have 2 new healing modalities. One's called RTMS and the other is called neurofeedback. And they've been shown through the theory of neuroplasticity to actually heal a brain. So that's better news ahead. And at our Super Bowl party on Saturday, we'll have a brain health summit with, again, leading neurologists talking about breakthroughs.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yeah, it really is. That's outstanding.
Yeah. So what 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 is the end game for you? What would you like to see all this research tell you?
And how we can make a brain less apt to be concussed in the first place. So we're not just talking about football, we're talking about hockey, women, young girls in AYSO soccer, and then in a larger community. And so the point is there a way to set the brain up to be less apt to be concussed in the first place?
Hmm.
Are there things that we can do? And then at the end of the day, can we rehabilitate and heal people who previously just went down the road to dementia?
Wow. So,
Yeah.
we can see from just this piece of this interview that there is so much more to Leigh than representing athletes, because you have some that they just want to represent them and that's what they do. But this is a bigger picture
Oh, this is
about
huge.
health and life and longevity, living. I mean, how did you decide that so many of the other things? Now you said, you Troy Aikman and some of these guys, but what is it about you that wants to seek these answers, that wants to not just be in the football arena, but find answers and solutions and make the difference?
So I have thought that I didn't go to law school to send players down the road to dementia. So we need to be in solution. My dad had two core values. One was treasure relationships, especially family. And the second was to try to make a meaningful difference and be part of the solution. So there's a tendency in life to wait for they or them, the amorphous people, to solve problems. And my father used to say to me, even the most minor of problems, like picking up a piece of trash, or the most major, like fighting about for solution to climate change or racism or domestic violence, he would say, you wait forever for they or them, older people, political figures, to try to help. He would look at me and say, the they is you, son. You are the they. So I feel compelled to try to do this. We're holding a Super Bowl party on Saturday with 4,000 of my closest friends. But we'll also have a brain body lounge where we'll be showing off new modalities like hyperbaric oxygen, stem cells, red light, Bimini, Nanovi, all of which are anti-inflammatory but also can heal a body quicker. We'll be giving humanitarian awards, philanthropic things that people do off the field. So Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, will get one, and Sean Payton, the coach at Denver, will get one, and Drew Brees, and we're trying to create a party situation where people learn something and are educated, along with having a lot of fun.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Leigh, out of all the things that you've been able to do, what do you think? Okay, aside from representing players. Oh, wait, actually, one more question before that. How do you feel when your players lose a game? Do you take it more personally than them, or how does it make you feel?
That would just happen, and so I don't get too high or too low based on field results. I will tell you though, having a quarterback in the Super Bowl, if you represent athletes, you could have the first pick in the first round, which I've done multiple times. You could have players go in the Hall of Fame, but one of the highlights is having a quarterback in the Super Bowl, because what happens is that this game transcends the narrow genre of hardcore sports fans or football fans, and 130 million people will probably be watching. So it gives an athlete who performs dramatically the ability to cross over from being a big football star to becoming a household name. So it's exciting, but My job is to console the losing player.
So how do you do that? What do you say? What are some of the words that, if there's, how do you console somebody?
Well, first of all, you made it this far in the first place. So just be proud of the fact there are 32 football teams, and even if you lose the Super Bowl, you're in the top two of 32. Second of all, you'll be back and you'll have more chances and more opportunities. Third of all, you played your heart out, and football's a team game, and you can't really carry all of it on your shoulders. So, to the extent you tried as hard as you could, you gave your all, then you should feel proud of this moment. And in time, the sting of losing will pass, and you'll be able to focus on the accomplishment.
That is very good advice for all of us. All right, so between the Super Bowl and the draft and other things, which of those events do you find more fun or just more intense for you as an agent?
Well, I think that draft day, uh, draft time is not real time. It's Chinese water torture time. Drip, drip, drip. And every second seems like a minute, and every minute seems like an hour. And you have a player and his family all together in one room who have been part of this journey forever. And as well as you prep your athlete as to where he's going to go, there's still inherent tension and drama in the moment. And so the intensity of it gets more and more focused as time goes on. And then all of a sudden the athlete's drafted and ecstasy and joy break out. So it's a lot of fun. And probably my favorite moment of all was being the presenter for Warren Moon at the Hall of Fame, because we had been together for 23 years that he played pro football, and he had me give the speech for him at Canton, and thinking of him. One of the things we do is we ask the athletes to go back to the high school community, the collegiate community, and the professional city and set up a charitable or community program. So scholarship funds at the high school, a maybe at the college, charitable foundation. In Moon's case, it's the Crescent Moon Foundation. But watching all the good that a role model athlete can do and being part of that is probably the most transcendent joy.
That's wonderful.
You know, all the things you've gotten a chance to do, Leigh, and even the beginning of the program and all what you shared with us, I mean, that's above and beyond. And yet I just wondered, if somebody was going to get into the business that you've been involved with for decades, what's the best advice? Are there maybe, say, three things that come to mind that you say, this is what you've got to do? You want to be in this business? You want to do what I've done this is what you've got to do. Three things.
Study psychology and try to hone your listening skills so that you can dive below the surface with another human being and get to their deepest anxieties and fears and greatest hopes and dreams. Put yourself in another person's heart and mind and see the world the way they see it. Because if you can do that, then you can craft win-win scenarios. But try to cut below the layers of the onion and get deeper and deeper into how someone feels about short-term economic gain, long-term economic security, the ability to be a starter, being on a winning team, understand that. And then brand yourself. Write an article on some aspect of sports, write on NIL or gambling or conference realignment or taxation or any issue, but brand yourself. And then figure out a philosophy. Ours is the athlete as role model, but figure out a way that delineates or distinguishes yourself from everyone else. And then we run an agent academy, which we'll be doing again in March here in Newport Beach. And you can reach out and come to that. And then network like crazy. Get onto LinkedIn and every other thing because you have to set up an infrastructure to help support you.
Great
So,
advice. Great
yes, and
advice.
you've been doing this Agent Academy for a while, and I think it's wonderful. I've had some friends that go through it. I'm tempted to go through it myself.
I'm gonna send my
Yeah,
son
why
to
don't we
it.
do it?
Jonathan's coming your way.
Yes,
Here's
exactly.
your first 3 students
But
right here, right?
what has changed about what you teach agents as a result of what's changed in college football? How has your job changed now with NIL and everything that the landscape in college football?
It's the most profound change in collegiate sports that I've seen in the 50 years I've been doing this because what they didn't anticipate was that schools were going to form collectives with their business alumni to get involved in high school or college recruiting. And so now you have a 15-year-old going on social media to try to put together a brand and then hire a marketing director. And so no one anticipated that a quarterback would commit to LSU and then along would come a Michigan alum who would offer him $14 million and he would
Yeah.
decommit to one school and go to the other. And then it happens again at transfer portal. So it's creating a situation where the top 4 conferences are going to sign all the great high school players. And they're going to pull away from every other conference. And so you have the haves and the have-nots. And then they'll eventually discard the NCAA and do their own negotiating with the networks and the rest of it. And so it changes the age in which an agent would communicate with a player and his family to much, much younger. And our practice relies on a mature athlete that understands the need for second career and long-term health and the ability to be a role model. And that's harder to find in an athlete that's young. What we teach at the Agent Academy are basic skills: how to listen, how to negotiate, and we have half of them be general managers and half of them are player agents. And then we teach them how to recruit. And we have real athletes that, and their families that these young people have to figure out a pitch to. And then we have lessons in marketing and branding, how to distinguish an athlete from anyone else. And then a charitable foundation and damage control when an athlete gets in trouble. So it's all the core skills that you need. And you could go to Leigh at SteinbergSpeaks.com and look up information on it, but it will jumpstart someone's career.
Leigh, we've only got about 3 minutes left, so let me just ask you one quick question here. After we're all long gone, you, me, all of us here in the set, I mean, decades from now, we look back and somebody says the name Leigh Steinberg. How do you want to be remembered? What would you like your legacy to be? I mean, look what you have done. Look what you shared with us at the beginning of the program and what you continue to, it's amazing. And I just wondered how you'd like to have your legacy be, just be remembered by most.
I hope it's people who understand their capacity to solve problems in the world and to be creative and to be optimistic and hopeful and to use their energy to make a positive difference in the world.
Well, it don't get much better than that, does it?
No, that's Leigh, you have
30
been
seconds,
wonderful.
go for it.
I know. I've been a big fan of yours since we first met. We were on the phone all the time during all the, work being done with Mike Sherrard. Then he had his injury. I remember I went out to California and sat in your backyard and interviewed him one day. And you've always been wonderful. And what you've done for so many people is just incredible. It's unbelievable. And I just want to thank you for all of that. You've just been an incredible human being.
Yeah.
Marnie?
Well, I did not get to sit in your backyard, Leigh, but I would not yet. I'll say not yet. But yes, you are a great role model for so many people and a great person, because what Leigh does is he really does the little details. Like when it's your birthday, I always get a little message on LinkedIn from Leigh, like, hey kiddo, happy birthday, or whatever it is. So you really do practice all these nice things that you tell everybody else to do. So thank you, because it
Yes.
really means a lot.
It does.
It really means a lot.
Yeah, it's being a difference maker in a positive, productive way, with just great meaning to it, and that's the
Absolutely.
kind of people you want to surround yourself with. And Leigh, you've done that to all three of us in some way, shape or form. All the years that I was a sports anchor on NBC in Dallas, I remember Leigh Steinberg. Oh gosh, I mean, you just always were. You're always there, but as you've shown the audience here today, you're above and beyond. You're a difference maker, and you've done it in a positive, productive way with great humility, but with great integrity, and that's the key. And what you said you want your legacy to be, totally understand, and for good reason. So thank you. Continued success, and just stay well, and have fun watching the game on Sunday.
Thank you very much. And I'm just one of a number of people out there trying to make a difference.
Understand. Well, you're doing
very meaningful.
Yep, A+. Thank you again. Leigh Steinberg, our special guest. Marnie, Marjorie, I'm Scott. Till next time, as we come to you from Louisiana, New Orleans, site of Super Bowl 59 coming up Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles. In the meantime, stay safe, be well.